Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go. And boom indeed. Bitcoin up to that 44K region. 44. What was the actual damage up here? Was 45 even for the most part on the Coinbase chart, just shy of 45K. Actually, if we zoom in, it probably was 45K. Basically 45K put in on the Coinbase chart here, and we are getting a little bit of resistance here on this previous left hand range point of control region at the top here at 43.9 ish, the 44K ish region. On the daily time frame of this diagonal pitch fan, we are reaching the outskirts of the 886. Are we going to start to see some mean reversion on the way down here, at least to retest some of these levels? Let's go ahead and see what's going on with High Block Capital. What is High Block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burned to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are, so let's do it now. Okay, so shout out to everyone here. Booyah, booyah. Let's go. So, as we start to make our way up, there is a, let me go ahead and make this max liquidity. There is a total imbalance of long liquidity on the 1 minute time frame to the tune of $34 billion, $34.5 billion, as we stab up here, giving all of the longs a lucky payday, as they still have large pools open here at 4306, 276 million, 50 Xers down at that 4306 region, and their partner in crime down at 188, 190 basically. So at some point the piper will be paid and will come down to enjoy these rewards of their payout. This is a massive daily vector candle, 2 days in a row to the upside here, as it is Wednesday, December 6th. Monday and Tuesday complementing one another after the weekend bounce off that 618. Let's go into what we were looking at yesterday and how one could have pivoted into a long off the cloud. All right. So we were looking at the power of threes and seeing how 3 hits would be a idea to look at. We were looking at a possible sweep to the range up top here, but possibly coming lower here. Why did we pivot here? What was going on here? Well, we have to turn on Momentum Master to see that. Here on, you were getting 2 time frames oversold. They're circle, so it is likely the 15-minute and the 5, possibly the hourly. If we go to the hourly time frame, we were also bouncing off of the cloud. This was the first cloud kiss since our breakout down here on December 1st. So the likelihood of finding that, as we have that 2 o'clock angle here, is highly likely, and we started to get that cross up event of the baselines here. So as we were putting in higher highs and breaking this range on the Fibonacci here at the 1618 at 42,382, you don't want to be shorting into higher highs. No, not a good look. So we came up to that 2 level at 44.5 here on the Binance chart and chilling at the 2 level after that trend-based fib idea from this impulse retrace on the daily. Let's go see what is percolating on the higher time frames here for the liquidity on Binance futures. Max liquidity on the 7-day. Let's go ahead and expand our vision there. So there is still some percolating up in this 45k region as people keep shorting and feeding the beast to the upside. So they had this happening down here on December 5th, and they fed the beast even higher, and now it's coming up to that, possibly coming up to that 45.7 region if it keeps going at the rate it is going. Down below, of course, you have large paid customers down below for the liquidity of the longs. At some point, the piper will be paid on the monthly. Monthly, we came up into these pools here, taking out about 40 billion or more. Do we clear the range up here on the Binance chart at 45,000, even at 45,100? We just saw that the Coinbase had already hit that, but not all charts are the same in value. That is a spot one here, and as you see, they are coming up to this region. And yeah, that monthly time frame still has some more to grab, potentially speaking. If we go up into the 3-month, you have double-digit pools up to the 45.6 region, and after that starts to taper completely at 45.6. Okay, at the 6-month time frame, let's go ahead and see what's going up. Double digits up to the 45.6. Once again tapers at 45.6. So looking like 45.6 is the end point for the liquidity completely. And if we go into the chart once again and throw on our oscillators, we jumped the gun on that, so let's do it now. Throw up the heads up display, link in the description for more, momentummaster.info. As we scroll down to features, toggle everything at our leisure. This was Bitcoin's bottom in November. And yeah, trend cloud, baseline, stochastic array, all this fun stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 3-day. So I think the 3-day candle closed mighty strong. We had a 3-day cross up. We flashed the cross down, never got it to close, and now we are on par to keep on target to the upside. Some deviation levels up here, the 46.8 region. Still waiting for confirmation of this. This flip of the adaptive was your clue, as we previously talked about banging our heads up against it back in March. Now we SR flipped it, and we were seeing this buyback wick and potential of going higher. 3-day time frame now starting to double top and get this momentum push. Vector candle on that 3-day, massive push for BTC on the upside here. daily time frame. Going to the daily time frame, getting stoked, the flames getting stoked as it goes up here, the MACD coming up in a manner, KD lines maxed to the brim, some volume tapering as we reach the second vector candle on the daily as the manipulation to the upside continues. And this is going to go to the 22 hour time frame. Also bounced off that cloud, that inversion of the cloud on the 12 hour as well. We were talking about you don't want to play against the clouds, so these clouds here was your inversion play of the 12 hour. And coming lower, the 12 hour also gassed, could continue higher here. Let's go to the lower time frames to get the idea percolating. It is Wednesday, December 6th, so we could see some consolidation after 2 days in a row of upside. So the last 6 hour candle has less volume than the previous 6, kind of drifting into the shorts here on the last 43 to 44 $4,000 drift on short liquidity to the upside. The Williams in overbought status on the 6 hour. If we go to the 4 hour, starting to gas out here perhaps on this last burst of momentum to the upside. We are still seeing the baselines hold. There is no trade just yet. This is highly bullish in nature. If you look up in this hourly time frame, the hourly is starting to show a little bit of fatigue on the, let me delete this because this was the third hit to the high idea that you started to have candles close above here on the hourly. This would have been, as you put in the higher high, the negation to the idea and possible even scalp to the upside. Also, one thing on the money flow here, we always talk about it a lot, is the money flow coming beneath the RSI here. You notice on the hourly time frame, the money flow coming beneath the RSI. We got a flash of a bullish divergence crystal, not once but twice, and off the cloud, that was your play to the upside on the London session. And the hourly time frame now getting gassed out. MACD, Williams, everything in overbought status as we come into the lower time frame of the 15. So the 15-minute is basically holding the super trend. This super trend has been holding since yesterday New York session. Nothing to write home about. But if we go to the hourly super trend, this hourly super trend has been likely holding. The super trend is your friend until the end, and it's been holding since Friday of last week. So this hourly super trend is just been chilling like a villain as we go up and up and up. So you got this nuke locked in and this extended idea of this last leg. Do we start to hold this region, or do we start to see a fatigue to the downside? Let's go ahead and see this lower time frame idea. So the 5 minute got 5 minutes, 5 time frames overbought here as you reach into that 2 deviation of the trend base fib. You've been seeing these nice bounces off of the super trend here. Bounce off super trend, bounce off the cloud, bounce off super trend, bounce off the cloud. So if you just play the Momentum Master Trinity, you've been in steady profits the entire time. So if we go to Bitcoin dominance, let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Bitcoin dominance also getting gassed out here as it closed. Did it close in what did it lock in on the time frame? Let's go ahead and look at the 12-hour. 12-hour gave back some on this wick, so it lost the nuke here. But this reclaiming of the cloud here and the shifting of the cloud telling you that the Bitcoin dominance play was taking back control. The alts are seeing a little bit of upside, but not nearly as much as Bitcoin with this surge up here. USDT dominance reaching now down into the level here we were looking at from over here, this low region. Do we start to get a little bit of a taper here at the lows of the USDT dominance? If we take a look at the Dixie, we can see that it is still kind of bouncing off of a region here, the 618 bounce, basically having a little bit of a taper at the weighted moving average. Overall, you're still in a bearish trend-based fib level we have yet to reclaim. We haven't even come back above the bearish super trend level on the daily. If you come to the 12-hour, 12-hour did break the bearish super trend on Dixie. Do we continue higher or not? The rising sun event of the Williams playing out here on DXY. There was also a rocket ship that locked in, I believe, on the 6th hour, was it? No, it was the 4. What? Yeah, there was some 1-hour rocket ships that locked in on Dixie right around that 618 bounce, and we were saying it could possibly go, but there hasn't been strength behind this, still allowing the store of value assets to continue higher. What is in the news plays today? Let's go ahead and take a look at Forex Factory. We have some Governor Bailey speaking later this evening, my time, basically pre-market for New York. And as the pre-market opens, you have some red folders. Will that be a catalyst? And then you have some more at midnight, my time, which would be the silver bullet time frame for the market. So does New York have some sort of reaction coming today? Looks like there'll be some volatility inbound. So basically you'd have to see the same thing, a 3-hit kind of pattern. We've already hit once up here in this region, so coming back and doing it again, possibly retracing down into some of the liquidity here. We have, let's go build a narrative, shall we? So we have some liquidity down at 43 even, 276 million in short liquidity. Let's go ahead and mark that off. 43 even, basically. 43 even would put you down in here. Let's go see exactly what that was in numbers. 4306, so it's 4360 basically. So a little bit higher, there we go. So there is a $250 million pool somewhere in these candles to the left. That's why we draw the arrow there. On this 5-minute time frame. So as we put one high hit in here, do we start to make a second hit up here and come back down? So as we hold this trend-based super trend here, do we come up and get a rejection at this point for the second hit or not? Are we going to make it up higher into these shorts up above that are still remaining. As it stands right now, you have, if we zoom into this, we have 31 million at 44,326, 27 million at 44,27. So if we come up to these 100xers that are opening here, they could be coming down into these breakout traders, which are underwater at the 43.62 mark. So watching to see what will happen on this reaction. It is Wednesday, so probably a sideways range bound after a volatile move like that for people to take profits and basically see some sort of range bound motion within a idea here. So you're currently at a premium level, so if you play this accordingly and think even if they're going to, you should always be paying yourselves and setting stops into profit either way. So if you're thinking smart, you probably have trimmed and or added at certain points. Let's go take a look at the hourly one more time. The hourly is failing off of the first thin boy baseline. We have about a minute until the 10 o'clock status closes this hourly beneath the baseline. The hourly is gassed, as is the 4, 6, 12. All of the higher time frames are basically overbought at this time, so it's anyone's guess when the fatigue will kick in. As I said, ideally you have to wait for the 3 hits theory, and it doesn't always have to be exactly in the same line. This could be lower than on the 3rd hit, but essentially coming up to the same range. And yeah, so as we come up here on the 15-minute time frame, 15-minute has reset here, so you can just play the lower time frame for what it's worth. The 5 and the 15 looking to basically come back and tap into these highs, basically reclaiming these 100x shorts possibly, and or fatiguing and coming lower to this pool that we outlined at 43k. So you would wait for it to fail a cloud of some sort here. So you have some super trend to possibly bounce off of, and or fatigue, and the cloud not providing you with a short idea just yet. What do we always look at? Well, we look at this curvature, and there is no curvature yet on the cloud, so there is no short. The short is when this stops pointing to 2 o'clock. So this is pointing straight up to 2 o'clock. This is very strong momentum. You do not want to go against that. So if you are in a long, you are in a nice position until this starts to curve. When this starts to curve, you'll see the cloud do something in this manner, where it starts to taper and point to that 3 o'clock angle. And then at that time, you could see something like this, where you break the super trend, you bearishly retest a fading cloud, it comes up and does some manipulation, and then that manipulation gives you the probable entry off of that to come lower. So you'd be waiting for a scalp here perhaps, or scalp there, but you don't want to be predicting the tops of things. That's a bad look. And basically looking for fatigue on this hourly. So the hourly could potentially fade off of these baselines. You'll get a cross down event, and then that cross down event will get some sort of manipulation, giving you the clue to possibly see some lower price as a larger player cashes out. All right, so let's go see what you guys have to look at? What would you like me to look at while you have me? And then we will bid you adieu. Okay, so give you a little moment to let you guys see what's gonna happen. Yesterday we took some NASDAQ to the upside on a play here off of this open session. Took it up for 100 ticks on 2 trades, 100 plus. This was a nice play. There was an hourly bearish order block that we missed out on here. So what did you want to take a look at? AVAX. All right. What's up, APV? AVAX. USDT. Nice. So looking like it already got that little pumperoo. If you look at the trend base fib here from this one little 15-minute, we are currently at the 1382 level. If you were in a long from one of these confirmation zones like here off the cloud or something, it would be suggestive to put some stop into profit and or trim at that level there at 2693. Just smart to pay and reassess. Trim, it's like I've told students in the past, it's similar to like Captain America. You punch and you shield, you trim and you put the stop in the profit. So that is a general rule of thumb you want to keep. Let's go ahead and remove this. I don't know when that was from. It's from a long time ago. Okay, so the daily time frame looks like we had this nice massive move up, a little pullback here, and then continuation idea. So where are we coming up to now? Let's go ahead and just put that here so we can look to the left. So we're coming over to that August 11th, 2022 idea, where we had a little bit of a rally leading into another massive dump. And we have yet to reclaim everything over here. So where can we reclaim on AVAX as a continuation possibility? So if we look at the daily time frame and start to break this down and look at the 12-hour and below. If we look at the hourly here, on the hourly, you have some this is a nice little gap here that was never reclaimed. So this is at 2874. This also happens to be a wick zone from here. So you can consider this like a bearish order block of sorts. This entire region has some resistance that you could butt your head against, perhaps. And this traded pretty fairly, this traded pretty fairly, everything traded fairly in that drop down except for here. If we go to the 5-minute, that's about where it starts to. So this entire range here at 2874 to 2869. If we go back to where we're at now, that also comes to the deviation level of the 2 zone up here. But as you see, we are getting some fatigue point symbols here on Momentum Master. Let's go ahead and look at the liquidity and AVAX liquidity. Here we go. AVAX. Here we go. So it just burst up and they don't even have data because it's on the 1 minute. Let's go see if they have it on the, yeah, they do. They should, because it's an older project. Okay, so on the 1 month you had all this liquidity over here to the tune of a few billion. It went even beyond that, so it's basically swept the entire range. On the monthly, there's no more liquidity to the upside, so potential fatigue here on the monthly time frame. If you go to the 3 month, even 3 month has a little bit more up above at that 25,622, 25,622. So even still, it's around where we're at right now. So thinking about a possible taper at this point at the 1382 level. There's nothing to the left necessarily, but this projection tool tells us that we will possibly come back down into a 786 and or 706 kind of level here. And if we go to, yes, all of this liquidity to the candle here, we have a large amount as people opened up trades here. So it could just easily come back into all these millions to the tune of 366 million in long liquidity into these candles. And people would take profits and wash their trades into this level. Does it continue up to that pool? I have no idea. There is a fair value gap up at that 2874 region we just went over, but we're getting gassed here on the 15. The previous gassed out level did come down and then surge. So do we come down here on that? We just went over the liquidity, saying that it has dried up in this area, so there is not really much more to grab up in that level. The 25,622 level is the max level that we went up to and beyond even. So all of the short liquidity is gone. If we go to the 2 year, let's see if there's something on the 2 year that we're missing out on. Yeah, it just doesn't, I don't think people hold short positions on AVAX that long. So yeah, the liquidity of shorts has been grabbed, so you can take profit and possibly see a little bit of a retrace here into some of these projection levels for support. That would be my story, and I'm sticking to it for AVAX. Looking gassed out and potentially coming into this candle here on the 15-minute, this vector candle recovery zone at the 2541, 2521 level, perhaps. Yep. All right, anything else? Yeah, no problem. And it's kind of getting some acceleration in that regard. So if we go to the Bitcoin going to spook the alts. Well, that was weird. Got this 15-minute sell-off, surge sell-off, and then continuation. What was that about? Let's go see what coins are hot real quick. AVAX is one of them. Beam, KuCoin, TIA, Python, Axie, Infinity, Dot, Quant, Ape, Near, Mana, Flow, HBAR, Pepe. So I think we were looking at HBAR the other day, so let's go see what that was like. HBAR. So we were talking about HBAR coming up to a region here. Our timing might not have been perfect, but we were talking about coming up to the highs here at this level, which we are doing now. We are putting in some higher highs on HBAR as we speak. HBAR getting a little bit of a shift in sector, the AVAX to HBAR by the looks of it. H-bar having a little bit of a burst up here on that from Thursday of last week. And we're coming up to that 886 level of this retrace zone. Possibly shifting even higher. There's the high at the 7-cent region. And this is why you wouldn't even look at it if we're not even coming back into this range. So there's no reason to even short it if you're putting in higher highs. That's just asking for a death sentence. So you wait for the power of threes to unfold. It is not unfolding as a fatigue point here. If it starts to come beneath this level, then maybe that's one thing, but showing strength, so there is no reason to be out of anything just yet for H-bar. So it's interesting how some coins have more strength than others. H-bar getting a little bit more interest right now than just what you said with AVAX. AVAX did get that burst up, but starting to see some profit taking in juxtaposing. It got its burst and now it's H-bar's turn by the looks of it. Interesting. All right, so yeah, everything is extremely gassed, so there's going to be some manipulation for things, for the dust to settle. People are thinking to step into easy shorts and they will get smoked, so that's why you wait for the confirmation play. And this is why you wait for confirmation of higher probability ideas and setups of 3 hits. All right, so what do I wrap it up in a nutshell in? Well, basically BTC coming up here, does it reject off the range? Does it put in a higher high from here, or does it start to fatigue down into these pools at 43 even? You have some liquidity to grab. If we close this out and just go to Bitcoin, once again there is a large amount of liquidity to grab. There is 50x, 100x to the tune of 35 billion, I believe. Let me go ahead and turn this back to max liquidity. 34.5 billion in balance of long liquidity, so I expect a slight retrace down into these pools at 43 and possibly below. Below we have the area marked out for you. What you need to see first is the tapering of the cloud on the 15-minute and a bearish retest of this cloud idea. This may not even be the second hit here. This might be the second hit, and then it'll be even longer before we break down here. So there could be a hit to this pool at some point in the near future. We're starting to see some fatigue here on the 15 and the hourly and the 4 and the 6 and the 12. So it's a good idea to start thinking about paying yourself, and you have this cross down potential on the horizon for the hourly. But once again, you need to see this cloud taper. It's still mighty strong in upside potential. So beware and be aware of your trades. And that is my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. So if you have nothing else you want me to look at, we'll look one last time and then we will bid you adieu. Starting to fail here on the 5-minute cloud. Do we start to accelerate down into that 15-minute or not? Let's go ahead and say what's up. Nope. Alright, well that is my story and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. We'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you on the flip side.